They help you justify spending and then make sure that spending is optimized. All yours, Andrew.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ron. Can you hear me okay? Just a quick mic check coming through.
All good. Yep.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, really looking forward to walking everybody through kind of what CloudHealth does from a cloud management perspective. And my role at VMware is Cloud Solutions Architect, working at the CloudHealth division of VMware. So speaking kind of to Ron's point, just looking at the overall kind of multi-cloud landscape and to give you a feel for where CloudHealth kind of fits in the market, we are the global leader in multi-cloud management. Right now, we're actually over 12 billion in total multi-cloud spend under management. And what you can also see there is about half of our customers are using CloudHealth to manage one public cloud. But then we're also seeing more and more customers really transitioning into a multi-cloud strategy. And in doing so, it really kind of tends to increase the complexity of your infrastructure and sort of maintaining visibility and proper governance, and then really just optimizing to make sure that you're running things efficiently and that you aren't wasting money. You know, it really becomes more challenging, especially as you venture into, you know, three or more clouds, including, you know, even your on-prem infrastructure as well in that overall strategy. And about 9% of our customers are kind of at that point today. And you can see on the bottom there the different providers that we work with out of the box would be, of course, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Oracle, and as well as VMware. Now, speaking of sort of the promise of the cloud, you know, obviously everyone has heard about, you know, improving speed of service delivery, really being able to be flexible to react to different changes, and really ultimately driving better customer experiences by being able to leverage, you know, the unique qualities of the cloud. But the reality is, oftentimes the operational challenges tend to really take over and really add to the overall challenges of the organization managing. Some of the, you know, the common factors there would be overshooting your infrastructure as a service budgets, you know, from a security standpoint, the nature of the interconnected public cloud. It really requires a change in mindset in terms of taking ownership of configuration management and posture management, making sure you're not accidentally exposing data or services. And then in general, just not being able to really optimize workloads due to just the distributed nature of, you know, multiple accounts or subscriptions or projects across different environments. It can be very challenging to maintain efficiency across that type of scaling environment. And that just kind of highlights some of the challenges. Here we're showing how financial services IT complexity is increasing. This is a bit of a dated survey, but we can see obviously the trend is only going to be increasing. You know, this was as of 2019, so at this point we're probably well over you know, 59% in terms of increasing your overall complexity. And here we're showing, you know, the number of different public clouds and, you know, including like edge environments, et cetera, where applications are being, you know, developed and run and managed. It's edging closer and closer towards, you know, 7 as an average, which is, you know, ever more complex. Now here's where CloudHealth really comes into play, and that's where we're trying to really help drive our customers along the cloud maturity curve. So really, you can kind of look at this as a way of leveraging the cloud as a way to really drive your business KPIs and your business objectives. And it really starts at the beginning with visibility, right? Improving visibility, understanding who's consuming what, maybe starting to define a chargeback model, really driving accountability from a financial standpoint, and also just making sure that everything is being run efficiently. And that's where the optimization stage comes into play. As you begin to, you know, define what a well-optimized environment looks like, you can begin to put into place governance guardrails to really drive those best practices, and then build automation on top of that so that you can manage by exception and sort of you know, be able to be more efficient and effective with how you use your time and your team's time. And the governance and automation pieces can really help to drive a lot of those best practices. And then the final stage is sort of business integration. It's taking the data, the recommendations, the actions, and really integrating that into the overall business flow, as well as informing more holistic corporate or company-wide reporting objectives. Maybe it's understanding cost of goods sold. Maybe it's understanding cost of particular applications. Doing margin analysis and revenue analysis, and being able to understand how much a particular customer or a particular application or microservice is influencing our bottom line or our overall costs. And you can see the 3 pillars on the right-hand side of this slide really define the 3 core kind of pillars of CloudHealth. Number 1 being financial management, 2 being operations, and 3 being security and compliance. And we'll speak more to each of these different areas. And this next slide really helps to define some of the use cases more specifically, just to make it a little bit more tangible. So if we start here in the bottom left, where we're looking at collaboration along the x-axis and maturity along the y-axis, starting with visibility and financial management, being able to accurately allocate costs, down to very granular levels, maybe by team, maybe it's by cost center, environment, right? Being able to leverage the tag data, but really all of the metadata that your resources can provide. A tool like CloudHealth, we can really use that data to better draw lines around your infrastructure and help allocate costs. It goes even more deep when we start talking about like containerized workloads and being able to understand which microservices, which customers, which applications are driving costs within some of that shared infrastructure. And CloudHealth provides capabilities and different tools to help you really do that type of analysis for those more complex shared type of environments. And moving along the maturity curve, we can talk about optimization, which is finding opportunities to eliminate waste. Governance and automation would be defining those policy controls. And then as we look at the operations pillar, here's where we can begin to share data with the right cloud teams so that individuals can take action on recommendations, and they can leverage the API to even automate some of those actions or make the recommendations that much easier to actually reap the benefit of. And then on the security and compliance side, of course, with financial services and fintech organizations, compliance and security is very top of mind, very relevant. CloudHealth has another platform called CloudHealth Secure State that's purpose-built for cloud security posture management. It covers multi-cloud environments. We'll talk through some of the core use cases from a security standpoint and how CloudHealth really helps our customers in those areas as well. So this here is depicting sort of the data model of CloudHealth, the platform. And it kind of makes sense to look at this from the bottom and then move upwards. So on the bottom level here, we have our cloud platforms, our cloud providers, AWS, Azure, GCP, VMware, Oracle, etc. Above that, we might have our infrastructure services, our containerized workloads, our platform services. And then, CloudHealth is aggregating all of that data, pulling it into a management platform, and really allowing for improved, financial management, governance, security, and compliance across all of that data. And that's what the integrated data layer allows for. And what we call perspectives. It's a really important concept of CloudHealth, but ultimately what they are ways you can customize how you want to view your data based upon really defining how different resources should be allocated. And the power of perspectives goes well beyond just using tags, which the native tools typically do a decent job of kind of helping you manage resources by tags. Perspectives go much deeper, allow you to really understand where the costs are coming from, helps to define those chargeback models for better accuracy. It helps, the perspectives will help you in optimization, where you can understand applying some context to a recommendation, right? Do we want to right size a workload if it's production, or do we want to maybe take this action on one of our test or dev environments, or maybe applying additional context around an individual who spun up a particular resource, right? If we have a recommendation for some security posture improvements, by using an owner perspective, we can understand exactly who we need to reach out to to make the changes, or at least to share the recommendation with. So really applying more context and better data is going to drive better optimization, as well as more targeted governance. So here are a few, we'll just walk through a couple of these use cases in more detail, right? So here we're talking about being able to view your entire cloud ecosystem from a single pane. And the idea here is we're showing a multi-cloud report. The primary cloud provider here is AWS. We can see Azure, some Google spend, a little bit of data center and Oracle Cloud spend. But what we can do is layer on our perspectives on top of this multi-cloud cost data, so that, holistic and in aggregate of your entire cloud ecosystem, we can understand how much is a particular cost center, how much is a particular project or team spending across all of these different environments. And being able to do that from one report is very powerful. Diving a bit deeper into perspectives, what they are rule-based groupings by tags, as well as by any metadata that we're collecting. And it's across your vSphere environment and the public cloud environments, so you can get a true kind of hybrid cloud visibility. This will, drive showback and chargeback. It'll help you align your metrics to your different business objectives by being able to understand your infrastructure through these different contextual lenses. Helps establish a culture of accountability, as well as understanding dependencies of downstream resources. That's another benefit of CloudHealth and of Secure State, is really providing better visibility into sort of that interconnected nature of the cloud. Looking at usage, performance, and metrics is a big part of CloudHealth too. We're not just focused on cost alone. By pulling in the usage and performance metrics, it really helps to drive more informed recommendations to optimize, as well as dig deeper into particular areas of the business. Maybe data transfer costs are creeping up, and we need to run an analysis on transfer locations and origin and destination locations. Maybe viewing our costs by VPC, comparing and contrasting workload costs across different architectural paradigms. Really helping to understand which of our initiatives are influencing our costs and how, and tying that back to the actual usage. Talking about optimization, and what we do is try to really summarize recommendations with these pulse reports. This will allow you to kind of get a cup of coffee report in the morning, just a way to really review the top optimization recommendations in a very concise manner. So here we're pointing out unused resources, or what we would call zombie infrastructure, being able to identify those, direct you to the assets, and take action all within one platform. Being able to right size different workloads based upon the performance metrics that we're pulling in and analyzing. Being able to manage your RI and savings plan inventory with the tools to help you model out the most optimal long-term strategy depending on your business's needs and sort of the direction and initiative there. So those are all a number of ways that we help with optimization. With governance and automation, this is an example of our policy engine. And really here is where it's a rules-based engine where you can define across all the different asset types, different types of checks, different guardrails. For example, here we're monitoring for unexpected cost increases. And this will allow us to, look through every single service, regardless of provider, and understand if a particular service had a day-over-day cost spike, right? Being able to get down to the granular level and pinpoint what caused that change, send an alert to that individual, and the report's going to actually, pinpoint that service, so you can see exactly what the change was and understand, is this going to kind of snowball into a larger problem a week or a month from now? Let's catch that early on and kind of fine-tune the policy to weed out some of the noise. You can really build out very robust rules here. Deliver alerts via email or Slack. Drive automation through our API. If you wanted to, potentially take a snapshot of an unused volume and then delete that volume if it's a non-production resource, right? We can support those types of workflows automatically. Just a number of different use cases. And lastly, here I'm going to speak briefly about our Secure State platform. And here we're depicting the interconnected cloud security model. And the idea is, through API reader access in combination with event stream connectivity. So we'll be pulling in events in real time and updating our database to understand, what is that configuration and what is a particular change to a resource? How does that affect A, the configuration, and B, any interconnected resources and their configurations, right? The blast radius of that misconfiguration can have a bigger impact than what might initially be visible. So being able to apply risk scoring, being able to pull in threat data from guard duty and other cloud provider threat tools, being able to combine all of that context and help you visualize your infrastructure and how everything is interconnected in near real time by consuming CloudTrail events. This is how Secure State really drives next level cloud posture management. And in addition to really hardening your cloud posture, compliance is going to be a big focus area for a lot of companies, especially in the financial industries. And Secure State comes out of the box with 17 predefined frameworks, inclusive of SOC 2, PCI, CIS, GDPR, HIPAA, ISO, NIST, and more. We support customization of these frameworks too. So regardless of the company's needs, we can build out customized rules. We can edit, or rather clone or copy existing frameworks and kind of build out a custom framework for your individual needs and really help provide that visibility and understanding of where the environment is compliant and where it's not, and then execute remediation actions through the platform as well. We've developed a very secure auto remediation worker that the customer controls fully. It's it would be a Docker container or a Docker image deployed into your environment with preloaded actions where you can self-correct any of the misconfigurations that are detected. And kind of the last piece, I know we probably just got a minute here, Ron, but the last piece to touch upon is business integration and how kind of empowering a cloud center of excellence is sort of one of the key things that CloudHealth tries to help our customers really drive. And what that means is integrating the data across all of your business systems, and then ensuring that your cloud metrics, whether it be cost or efficiency, making sure that's aligned with your business KPIs, understanding margins, understanding cost of goods sold, tying that all into the overall health of the business, and making sure that all the right people have that data at their fingertips. And lastly, here we have a short case study with Experian, and they have a very complex, large cloud presence, as one could imagine, across AWS, Azure, GCP, and Oracle. And they really were tasked with driving better efficiency. And what we were able to do was, achieve 100% visibility across all of their resources, drive savings opportunities quarterly, so that the different teams could understand the opportunities and take action, ultimately saving about 1.7 million in savings opportunities since using CloudHealth. So lots of value and really making those recommendations actionable. And I'll just close, Ron, by stating that we offer a white glove sort of POC process where we would do a Tailor demonstration, understand your challenges, show you how CloudHealth might be able to fit in and resolve some of those challenges, and then we'd work with you through a 2 to 4 week process of kind of configuring your environment, showing all the recommendations, walking you through a value summary so you understand what the opportunity is, and then building out a partnership where we can help ensure that you're taking action and really seeing the value of the platform within your business.